Okay, today we're going to talk about geometry, and this is the Van Healy model, and it's a Van Healy theory of geometric thought. And there's 4 different levels, and it starts with level 0, which is visualization, which it talks about shapes. And then as it moves up to level 1 of analysis, it's going to go to classes of shapes. And then in between level 1 and 2 is properties of shapes, and level 2 is informal reduction. Deduction. And then as we move to level 3 of deduction, they're going to go through relationships among properties, and then they go to deduction systems of properties, and then level 4 is rigor, which is analysis of deduction systems. And then as we go through our lesson today, we're going to talk about 3 different vocabulary words, which are sequential, advancement, and mismatch. And sequential means that the students will move through levels in orders, and they must master one level to move to the next level. And with advancement, from level to level depends on the content and the methods, not on age. So it doesn't matter what age they're at, it depends on if they have mastered one level or not. And then mismatch is if the student is at one level and the instruction by the teacher is at the different level, that the progress will not occur. So today we're going to focus on 2 different levels, and that's going to be level 1 and level 0. And those levels are analysis and visualization. And visualization is talks about shapes, analysis is classes of shapes. So level 1 says students think about shapes and what they look like for the purpose of forming groups that seem alike. And if students are in level 0, they'll be able to describe shapes using names without discussing attributes. They'll be able to name shapes regardless of orientation. They'll be able to categorize into flat or solids without talking about attributes. They'll group shapes that seem to look alike based on their appearance. And then students that are in level 1, which is analysis and the classes of shapes, think about shapes with the same class for the purpose of clearly describing properties of the shape. And students that are also level 1 of the Van Healy theory of geometric thought are able to describe attributes of shapes and components and experiment with shapes to discover attributes and form new shapes. They think about shapes within shapes for the purpose of describing properties, and they can measure distance and discover attributes of the shapes. And so, we're going to talk about experience 2 different skills today. Our first skill is going to be with kindergarten, and that skill is going to be defining attributes of one-dimensional figures. And it's going to be with kindergarten, and it's identifying attributes of 2-dimensional shapes using informal and formal geometric language interchangeably. So, I have all these different shapes, and I'm going to ask my student to categorize these shapes in any way she thinks is fit. Okay, why did you put these into those categories?
These have curves and no points, and these have lots of points.
Okay. You think you can mix them up and sort them, put them in new categories? Okay. Okay, and what'd you do here?
These are black, these are purple, and these are red.
Good job. And since my student is in the level 0 of the Van Healy theory geometric thought, she only focuses on the visual. So she's only able to describe the names of the attributes and the orientations regardless, but she only can categorize them based on what they look like in their appearance. Okay, now we're going to do a level 1 activity, which is analysis. And our skill for level 1 It's going to be classifying and sorting 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional figures. And the grade is going to be grade 1, and the TEK is going to be classify and sort regular and irregular 2-dimensional shapes based on attributes using geometric language. And what I'm going to have my student do is I'm going to give her characteristics and attributes of a figure. And she's going to draw what she thinks this figure is. Okay, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
And this is my figure and my attributes. My figure has no curves. It has 3 sides, 3 vertices. You got it. You got it? Okay, what did you draw?
I drew a triangle.
Okay, why do you believe it's a triangle?
Because it's the only shape that has 3 sides. And I drew a square because you said the sides were straight, right?
I said it had no curves.
Oh, it
correct.
had no curves.
Which means they're straight.
But
Correct.
that has 4 corners.
Uh-huh.
But this only has 3.
Good job. Okay, now for my second. Now, my second one has 4 sides. It also has 4 vertices.
Okay.
Another hint is that all sides are congruent.
Okay.
And all sides are the same length.
Oh, I know what it is.
Okay, what did you draw?
Well, I drew a kite
Uh-huh.
because that has 4 sides with my dad, and I fly those. And then you said their sides are congruent, and the rectangle sides are congruent.
Mhm.
But then you said all of the sides are the same length, and a rectangle has long sides and short sides, but a square doesn't.
Good job. That's correct. And then, since you are in the level 1 of analysis, you were able to classify the shape, and you were able to use attributes such as congruent and vertices. So, good job. And then we also just have to go over our Van Healy model one more time. And we have to remember that there's 4 levels, and to move through the levels, they're sequential, and that you have to master one to go through the next, and that they don't depend on age. And the first level is visualization. The second's analysis. The first is analysis. The second is informal deduction. The third is deduction, and the fourth is rigor. Okay, thank you. And then we also have our mismatch, which means if the student is at one level and the teacher is instructing in a different level, that means that the student will not progress, with the teacher. And then we'll also go over our different levels. When we do go through visualization into analysis, you go through the classes of shapes, and then as you move through the first to the second, it's properties of shapes, and the second to the third is relations among properties, and the third through the fourth is deduction systems of properties, and then the fourth stage is analysis of deduction systems. Okay.
I said Van Helsing 6 times instead of Van Healy.